What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen, and in today's video, I'm going to share with everybody the 11 steps that I take when I am planning and budgeting for a major home remodel. When I'm planning for a home reno or a major DIY project, there are a bunch of things that I need to complete before I even consider starting on the project itself. I should probably back up here to tell you guys that I am a planner. Possibly to a flaw at times, but I've always found that when it comes to spending enormous amounts of money on home renovation or home improvement, you kind of can't plan too much. That's why the first step always, even before I consider a single thing going into the space, my first step is to always establish my budget. I should point out that budget will be different for each person, not to mention each project, and it's totally dependent on your personal financial situation. Some budgets are high, some budgets are low. Any way you slice it, you're gonna have a budget for your project. However, some things are more expensive than others. For example, if you want to do a full kitchen gut remodel, you'll likely spend a whole lot more than if you make over a guest room. In this example, I'm going to talk about remodeling my master bathroom. Now, we're not doing this project just yet. Times are a little weird and we're not trying to take on an expensive reno right now. But this is a room that we plan to make over in the future, so I figured it can't hurt to get some real measurements and figures underway. Kitchens and bathrooms will always be some of the most expensive places to renovate because you've got all kinds of stuff in there, like built-ins, and many of your major systems run through your kitchen and bath, like electrical and plumbing. Doing either room as a DIY project will help save money, but you might need to hire some pros just depending on what your systems look like or what you want to do with the space as a whole. As you can see here, we had to replace a lot of plumbing under our slab in the bathroom when we were doing our guest bath. For us, that just is not a DIY project. For the purposes of this video, I'm not going to talk about all the inevitable surprises that will likely come up in any DIY project. For this one, I'm just going to talk about the main moving parts of the renovation. I will get back to accounting for a few surprises in step 8, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But for now, let's just move right on to step 2. Once you know what you can afford to spend, then it's time to move straight into step 2. Step 2 includes measuring and creating a plan for your space. Now, I'm old school and a true believer that there's a hand-to-brain connection, so I personally like to draw my floor plans by hand. I use a pencil, an architect scale, and gridded paper to transfer the measurements from my rough drawing. For a personal project like this, I don't create multiple plans like electrical or HVAC, but I will make notes on the plan where things like outlets and fans and built-ins and stuff like that, where those things are located. With a complete plan to reference, now it's time to get to some of the fun stuff. Step 3 is all about gathering inspiration. I have an established design style in my home. We are beach bums around here, and we love that casual coastal vibe. So I don't really deviate from that overall style while looking at materials, fabrics, wood tones, and colors. But if you don't know the exact style you're looking for, it can really help to scroll through the internet, Pinterest, Google, or other sites to find the type of styles and colors you feel most drawn to. I'll warn you though, this step can be a lengthy process if you don't know exactly what you want, so be prepared to do this more than once. Also, expect to get fully sucked in and fall straight down the rabbit hole. That's okay, for right now. Because in step 4, you're going to take all of that cool stuff you just found and start a list. I like to equate this part to sending in an application for Harvard. You're not concerned with cost or realism here, literally just anything that you think you could ever want in your space, put it on this list. You want a crystal chandelier? Add it. Titanium toothbrush? Put it on the list. For me, I find the best way to do this is by using a spreadsheet. That will also help you out a lot when you get to step 5. Because in step 5, we pop that fantasy bubble, and quickly crash right back to reality. This is where I go out, find all the stuff on my wish list, and cost it all out. For real. And I'll burst your bubble right now too. Unless you're growing a money tree, most of us DI warriors, we aren't getting everything we want. In fact, in some instances, we may not get anything that we had originally decided we want. But I'll also warn you, always shop around and compare similar things from multiple retailers before settling on any one vendor. Because it may look less expensive on the surface, but it could actually cost you a lot more money in the end. Because this is where your budget and reality come crashing together. In step 6, you're gonna need to adjust your wish list to be something a little more practical. So I'll either completely remove an item from my list, decide if I can find something with a similar feel and quality in a less expensive option, or set up my project to run in multiple phases. Multi-phase is sometimes a great option when working on a limited budget because it lets you get underway, but you won't have to live in a construction zone forever. Step 7 and 8 can run sort of concurrent with the last couple and the next few steps, but I want to note them both here as steps of their own because if you don't pay attention and are extremely on it, you can really blow your budget way out of control here. In step 7, I will research exactly how I acquire the items, whether I pick up or have them delivered. And that runs right along with step 6 because you don't want to forget things like delivery fees or other shipping costs. Then in step 8, it's time to add it all up. Remember when I said I'd get back to surprises? This is where you adjust for something going wrong. Because this is DIY, and it's pretty likely that something will inevitably go wrong or surprise you at some point in time along the way. That's why in any major home remodel, I always account in the initial budget for an additional 10% overage from what I think I'm going to be able to spend. Also, don't forget tax. A good example is here in Phoenix. If I went and spent $1,000 on materials and supplies, that actually means I'm spending $1,086, and that's a big oops if you're on a limited and tight budget. Don't worry, your spreadsheet can do all the math for you. Now the real nitty-gritty begins, because in step 9, you're gonna plan your demo schedule. But just demo, no construction yet. Now, this might seem like overkill to some people, but I can assure you that with the number of surprises that can arise, this is kind of a critical step. And you're gonna need to ask yourself a whole bunch of questions, these and more, depending on your personal project. How many hours a day do you have to work on the space? How often do you do this kind of heavy labor? How in shape are you to begin with? Where are you going to collect the trash or other refuse? Do you have to bring things to the dump? Oh, and are there fees to drop these materials? When do you want to start the project, and how long will deliveries take? How long can your room be under construction? Then in step 10, you will take all your knowledge, schedules, and subcontractor lists and get started. This is where you'll start scheduling the actual construction process. And you'll want to ask yourself a lot of those same questions that you just asked during the demo phase, like how much experience do you have doing any of these things? How much experience do you have in remodeling to begin with? And how many hours a day can you work on this project? Or how many hours a day do you want to work on this project? Now that you literally have everything in order, it's time to get things underway. Step 11 is where you start paying for stuff. It's real. Place your online orders. Schedule your contractors. Go hit the home improvement store and pick up things on your list. Start getting the stuff out of your space so you can get with the demo schedule that you established in step 9. Just don't forget, stick to your list and you should stick to your budget. The best way to complete a successful DIY project is all in the planning. Now, this isn't the stuff that they show you on TV because it's not the glamorous part. But trust me when I tell you, if you're on a budget, This planning stage is the #1 most critical part of any major home renovation project. And that's how I start and plan for any major home remodel, especially if it's a DIY project. I hope you found this video useful and can incorporate some or all of these steps into your next major reno. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to let me know by giving it a thumbs up right down below. Also, please leave me a comment if there was anything else that you do in order to plan for a major project like this that maybe I left off of my list. I would love to learn from you guys if there are other things that could just be incorporated into my planning that will make that plan go a lot smoother. Basically, if there's anything you'd suggest that I do before swinging the old sledgehammer. You can also feel free to subscribe. Big ol' red button down below, you kinda can't miss it. Then if you click on that, the bell menu appears. Click on all and you'll be notified every time we upload. I try to upload a brand new video every Friday morning at 6 a.m. Arizona time and would absolutely love to have you guys here for the next one. So speaking of the next video, next week I'm considering trying my hand at hydro dipping for the first time, so you're probably not going to want to miss out on that. Don't forget to subscribe. Click all. We will see you guys here in the next one. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. Hopefully this helped you to plan your next major remodel and you got some tips and tricks out of this video. Thanks again so much for watching and we will see you next time. Even start on. Sound more like a robot. Okay. Oh my God, I can't even say one line. That's enough. Second B-roll, scrolling Pinterest. Wow, scrolling, can't talk today. I hope you found this video useful and here we go again.
Yeah, so there's pre-COVID purchases, wash hands, go back, take over.
I'll cut all that out because that sounded too robotic. Yeah, that'll do. I know the second I actually start recording, Matt's gonna come back in the house. That's all right. All right, I need some light on my face. Yowza, I need some sun on my face. All right, let's stop.